Aloha, we're from the Nanakuli Olelo Community Media Center, and today you're watching
Youth Capital Commentary.
Aloha, my name is Jaylee Kanoy. I'm in the 12th grade and I attend Nanakuli High and Intermediate School. And today I'm here with Senator Maile Shimabukuro of District 22. Aloha, Senator.
Aloha.
Senator, what are your goals for this upcoming legislative session?
Well, given that we had the tragic fires in Lahaina, a big priority for many of us in the legislature is fire prevention. And specifically on the Waianae Coast, we want to try to get firefighting dipping wells in all of the major valleys. It's a big CIP. We also want to create a state fire prevention bureau, which is something that's been a priority of the HFD for many years now. And it's a bureau that would have inspectors and who could also do MOAs and other kind of agreements so that there'd be a lot of these jurisdictional limitations that HFD has now, like they can't go onto state property, for instance, could hopefully be worked out and eliminated by this bureau. There's also a bill that's a carryover from last year that has fire prevention funding statewide that would go through DLNR. So we're going to push for that bill again. And then in addition to that, we're looking at the NHIS Performing Arts Center. Again, we got some of the startup funds for that in a previous budget. We want to keep on putting money into that wonderful cause. And then, of course, we want to continue to work on our transportation. And so we want to continue to work on the Pa'akea Road to make that a second access for daily use. And also we want to extend the turn lanes, so to put them at Lulule Naval Road, at Nanaikeola Street, and also at Helilua Street. So in the morning, you'll have more flow eastbound, and then westbound, you'll have a longer contraflow.
I wish you luck on these bills.
Thank you.
What are some of your issues your community face, and how do you plan to address them?
You know, I think it continues to be one of the biggest problems is houselessness. And so, you know, it's something that, you know, we really have to come at with compassion and also a tough love, you know, I believe. And so last session, I was happy to see that we funded the ACT program, which is the Assisted Community Treatment Program. And it's another word for involuntary mental health treatment. And it's an excellent program that just really needed more legs and more money. And what it does is that if we in the community or any caseworkers spot someone who is clearly has a mental illness or drug addiction and is a danger to themselves or to others, you can report them to IHS. And then IHS then coordinates with case management here on West Side, it's Kealoha, West Oahu, and also with the courts and with the medical staff. And they do an outreach to that individual, and they work on filing a petition in court to really to help them so that they can get the treatment they need, whether they want to or not, because many of them will refuse it and continue to be a danger to themselves or others. And so I'm really, really happy that the bill that passed last session expanded it so that the AG's office can also be involved in these petitions and gave just more funding and resources so it can really be expanded. So that's one. Another one is that, you know, we gave a grant and aid to Waianae Comprehensive Health Center, and they, being very aware of the problem as well, are going to create respite beds. And, you know, really what that is that often houseless individuals having some kind of mental health crisis go to the ER, you know, right? And because there's a lack of bed space, they often just get, you know, give some shots, give some pills, and they get sent back out into the beach, only to then come back. It's just a never-ending cycle. And so what they're hoping to do with the grant and aid is to create, I think they said around 6 respite beds and crisis stabilization beds, really, so that someone coming out of the ER, you know, whatever, who still needs mental health supervision can be kept in there and then really treated and given the kind of treatment they need to hopefully not to end the cycle of constantly going in and out. And so those are kind of the big issues that I'm looking at in terms of houselessness.
So during your 20 years in office, what are some accomplishments you are most proud of?
Okay, well, I have to say, you know, every time I drive, both in the morning and coming home, the contraflow lane is huge. And, you know, I remember back in 2003, you know, walking the district, of course, you know, the biggest #1 quality of life issue was traffic for most people. So, you know, it took a long time and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But I'm so grateful to all the DOT directors and ending with Director Sniffen, who finally saw that project come to life. And it was a long time coming, but it's just a wonderful thing to finally have the contraflow lane and the turn lanes that people in the Waianae Coast had begged for so many years, and to see it finally happen is extremely rewarding. Also very happy about the Nanakuli Library that finally got built. Really happy that Ma'o Organic Farm was able to expand. We helped them get both the original land they have in Lulale Valley and then the new land that they have up the Naval Road. And it's just wonderful to see that program really flourishing. Also really happy that we're able to support the Eala Voyaging Academy. If you go to the Waianae Boat Harbor, you see that giant A-frame. And it's really happy we're finally able to give it a home. And now Kamaile Academy and other students are working to bring that canoe back into the ocean. We helped Sea Rider Productions get their building, which was wonderful. So many things. This past session, I was really proud of a bill I got through that it says that, for many people that find themselves having issues with the law, they're able to say that, they're able to plead no contest or deferred acceptance because, maybe it's their first time getting in trouble. They're really young. They made a stupid mistake, right? And under our laws, you're given kind of a second chance, so you're saying if you didn't get in trouble, you can plead deferred acceptance. If you stay out of trouble for a certain amount of time on probation, then you can apply for expungement of your record. And so the expungement process had problems, though. You would have to go through this complicated process, but then your record was still public. You had to go through another process to get it actually sealed or confidential. And so the bill that I got through, which was inspired by a constituent, says that upon expungement, the record will automatically be confidential. And so very proud of that as well. And just so many other things. And I'm just so grateful to have had this privilege of serving, just the best district you could possibly ask for 20 years. It's just been such an honor. And I'm really excited to finish this last session in 2024.
I can say that these are all wonderful accomplishments, and it's well appreciated.
Thank you.
Senator, you've served our community well, and as much as you accomplished through your time in office, what do you most look forward to when your term ends?
Well, it's going to be just really nice. I really look forward to having more time with my family and friends is the biggest one. My son is 15 now, and it's just incredible. You guys grow up like in the blink of an eye. And so I just realized I only have 3 more years left before he's 18 and he's adult. So I'm really going to try to cherish, as much, those years, last years I have with him, and of course with my mom. She's 78 now, and so, I just really looking forward to having that time to spend, and and I'm going to enjoy more time in the ocean, and more time out in nature. And then I also want to just really continue to enjoy being involved in the community. I really enjoy working with nonprofits like Women of Waianae and Malama Makua and Olelo. And I'm excited about having that flexibility to devote more time to those kind of causes that I want to support. And I'll definitely still support legislation that's important to the community and support candidates and the party and things like that. And so, I'm just excited about just having more freedom in terms of where to spend my time. And I'm still going to be doing legal services work as well. So it'll be nice to be able to focus on that too.
Wow, these are all wonderful. So as you know, Olelo offers tea, training, equipment, and access to PEG, public, education, and government. For me, Olelo is important because for 12 years, since 6 years old, I've been able to gain media production skills that allowed me to utilize towards volunteering for Olelo and the West Side community. What are some of your feelings towards Olelo and its importance?
Oh, I can't emphasize enough, how much I'm grateful to Olelo for all the lives they have touched. And to see you, I remember seeing you all these years, and just to see you blossom into this wonderful young woman. Now I really understand, how older people would always say, it's important to train the younger generation because we have to pass the torch. And now that I'm 53 now, I get it. And really, there's nothing more important than the people, because without people to fill the workforce and to do the important jobs that are needed, our state would crash and burn. And to see someone like yourself and someone like these wonderful ladies behind the camera and the students that I met before we started this interview, to see that these youth are so excited about learning a skill and learning teamwork and just all the things that you'll see once you get out after school, you'll see that these skills you're learning are extremely valuable when it comes to being out in the world. I'm just so grateful for that, because that's really our job as policymakers, is that we need to invest in the next generation, because they're the ones who are going to, take care of us, who are going to, get the tax revenues going through, who are going to do the jobs that need to be done. And so it's a really critical role. And, it's so important, too, to learn hands-on skills, because as I know, and many know, too, you can learn all these things in a classroom and from a book. But when you get out there and you start going to job interviews, employers want to know that you actually have experience doing things. And so when you can say, I spent, 6 years, 2 years, 3 years in Olelo, doing interviews. Here's my video, resume, learning how to operate machinery, learning technical skills. That will be extremely impressive, because now they know that you can hit the ground running and they won't have to train you on how to do all these technical things that you're doing now. So, it's great. And I really hope that Olelo will continue to flourish and that we'll continue to fund it. I was just told, actually, too, that, Olelo really could use more support. They have a really, really tiny budget when it comes to refreshments for the students who are here after school. And they really, could use support. So those of you viewers out there, please donate to Olelo and volunteer and give your time.
This is all well appreciated, Senator. What are some of your last words you have for our constituents for the last time?
I guess I just want to say that, continue to foster the youth, continue to perpetuate the Hawaiian culture. We are so fortunate on the Waianae Coast in that we are one of the few places in Hawaii where the Hawaiian culture really is alive and well and is perpetuated. And that makes us so special, and so I didn't realize how special Waianae was until I left. And I lived in the different parts of Oahu and, of course, on the mainland. And what I missed Waianae more than anything, because it's really the real Hawaii here. And so be proud. Those viewers that are here, if you're from the West Side, be proud to be from Waianae. We're a very special place, very close-knit, very caring community. And I feel so lucky that this is my home. And I look forward to continuing to be part of the community and supporting the good things that are happening.
Mahalo, Senator, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on your graduation upcoming pretty soon.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you.
Aloha, my name is Reverend Ikaika Kanaknui Burns. I'm in the 3rd grade, currently attending Island Pacific Academy. Today I'm here with Representative Cedric Gates, District 45. So, Representative, what are some of your goals for this upcoming legislative session?
So, starting next legislative session, we're going to be really working on the Maui wildfire recovery. So that's going to be supporting our Maui Ohana, and that's something that we're going to prioritize for next session. Also, along those same lines, working on transportation issues. Congestion on our Farrington Highway remains an issue. How I hope to do that is working on the emergency access route. But also along those lines, we'll be looking into supporting Department of Hawaiian Homelands and supporting people getting into housing.
What are some of your issues that your community faces, and how do you plan to address them?
So transportation, again, is one of those bigger issues that affects everybody, and that's why remains the #1 priority for me to address. We're working with the city to get the emergency access road up Lulu'ole Naval Road open for daily use so that we don't have to wait for police or the fire department to open it. Houselessness is still a big issue. So what we're trying to do is build kauhale projects in our community across 96792 to house people who are coming off the streets or our beaches. And then we're also working on agriculture. So I'm the agriculture chair for the House of Representatives. And what I am looking at doing is increasing our production of local produce that goes into our stores and ends up on your plate here at school.
What are some accomplishments that from the last session that you're proud of?
One of the biggest accomplishments we were able to get done last legislative session in 2024, or 2023, I apologize. We were able to secure funding for Pokai Bay. That's a important beach for our community, but also a very special cultural site given the heiau for navigation that sits there. But what we're going to do with the money we secured, which is $5.6 million, we're going to rebuild and reconstruct the jetties so that we can improve the water circulation in the bay and increase the safety, along with allowing for our community to practice their fishing rights and gathering rights as well.
Do you have any last words for constituents?
Yes, please, message to our constituents. Get out, get active, participate in our community affairs. We are just one person at the legislature, and with the help of the many residents that are out there, I think we can accomplish really big things. So to put in perspective, one person, I represent 25,000 people along our coastline from Makaha to Waianae, and if we had just 10% of those people coming out, making their voices heard, and really participating in our government affairs, testifying on bills, and just making their voices and their concerns known to the people that represent them, we would see tremendous results from that. And that's something that I'm going to encourage even people like you who are still in school. You guys still have a voice, and we want to make sure your voices are elevated and things are getting done for your generation as well.
Mahalo, and we wish you the best of luck.
Mahalo. Thank you for having me.
Aloha, my name is Treasure Lewis. I'm a senior at Nanakuli High and Intermediate School, and I'm here with Representative Divan Garcia of District 42. Aloha.
Aloha.
So tell me, what are some goals for this upcoming legislative session?
Cut the cost of living here in Hawaii. As you all know, as each year goes by, the cost of living just gets higher and higher. It's just harder for local families to survive and afford living here. So our biggest goal is to pass bills to reduce taxes to make our cost of living cheaper and more affordable here in Hawaii.
That's really good to hear, especially as somebody that is about to reach adulthood, and taxes is really something on my paychecks. So nextly, what are some issues that your community is facing? How do you plan on addressing them?
So lots of issues with infrastructure right now. So my district is 42, and that's Kapolei, Ho'opili, and Eba villages. The Ho'opili area is pretty much all brand new. So, 10 years ago, it was all ag land. Now it's a brand new community. So we're looking at making sure that we get infrastructure built in East Kapolei to make sure that our new communities who are moving in has what they need to survive and live in a nice community.
Nice. What are some things that you're proud of from this past session?
Well, one bill that we did, I did vote yes on, which goes into effect January 1st of 2024, is that vehicles weighing less than or more than 10,000 pounds can no longer drive in the far left lane on the freeway. I know I've gotten lots of concerns from residents who are saying, hey, can we do something about that to help traffic flow go more smoother? Because, I live on the west side, and we all know the pains of traffic every day. So anything to reduce traffic and make our trip just a bit more smaller is helpful.
I know my dad would appreciate that bill very much so, as he works in town.
Yes, for sure.
What caused you or inspired you to become a representative?
Well, what I want to see more in government is seeing more elected officials with common sense. I've been looking at the building for a long time, and I just don't see common sense here often. And so I was just inspired to stand up and fight for our local values here in Hawaii, and that's faith, family, and freedom, and just fighting to maintain a state where locals can actually survive and thrive.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Do you have any last words for your constituents?
Make sure you vote and make sure you engage in government, because we don't belong to the government belongs to us.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Kalana Pulava. I am in the 10th grade, currently attending Nanakuli High and Intermediate School. Today I'm here with Representative Darius Kila of District 44. So, Representative, what are your goals for this upcoming legislative session?
Kalena, welcome back to the Capitol. Aloha, my name is Darius Kila. So when we're talking about goals, I think the biggest thing is that we have to acknowledge that this was a challenging year, right? I think what happened in Lahaina has kind of maybe shifted a lot of us, not just in our district, but across the state. So how do we, one, address the issues that are coming out of Lahaina, but two, make sure it doesn't happen anywhere else, right? Lahaina and Nanakuli are so similar in landscape. So the biggest thing for me is that how do we look at fire mitigation, reducing fuel loads, and making more resilient communities? And what that looks like, it could be from us doing the fire breaks we're doing across Farrington Highway, removing all these old debris and brush. So I think that's some of the biggest goals I want to push for this year. Of course, addressing cost of living. Our working class lives out in District 44. So how do we make it easier for them to live here in Hawaii and work in Hawaii and stay in Hawaii?
And what are some issues that your community is currently facing, and how do you plan to address them?
You know, what I love about District 44 is that one day it's one thing and then the next day it's another, right? So, but the biggest issue that we always have to face is what is our education system looking like? As a state rep, the purview of education falls under our job and charge. So Nanakuli High School, making sure that it's a safe environment for students, right? There is a lot of instances of violence, but I'm so happy DOE was able to provide extra security to the campus. As you know, Nanika Pono was vandalized and we got more security there. So every time there's an issue, we respond. But also not just responding to the issues, but being proactive so there are no issues.
And what are some accomplishments that you are proud of?
I think the biggest accomplishment I'm proud of is the partnership that I did with you folks, right? So starting in May, every single month during the interim, we had a town hall. And you folks came on board to help me broadcast those town halls. But this is something as we reemerge into maybe a more normal society, that we get folks together in the community. And for me, I've always wanted to bring government to Nanakuli. And you saw folks from the Department of Agriculture, Department of Land and Natural Resources, Department of Hawaiian Homelands, Department of Transportation. So everybody that matters for our district came to our district. And I want to continue to do that with Olelo.
What inspired you to become a leader for your community?
A lot of things inspire us, but I think it's not what inspires us, but what scares us. And I think what scared me to run for office was the lack of somebody doing good in office. I don't think I'm perfect. Nobody is perfect. But the idea of now knowing what is at stake here in the state, in our district, I couldn't just stand aside. So I think we got to look for things that inspire us and scare us, and then we make it all work together.
Do you have any last words for your constituents?
Let's just have a great year, right? And whatever you're going through, I hate to say that somebody else may be going through the same thing, but instead of perpetuating those cycles of angst and anger, let's just do cycles of aloha. So when you see somebody, just love them, because that is what makes this state so special. I'm able to go across the country sometimes, and I look at different pockets of communities, and for the only few hours I'm there, I'm like, Mom, I want to come home. I had a great time when I was going to school in Oregon, but now when I go back to the continental U.S., there's something special here, and we got to preserve that.
Mahalo, and thank you for your time.
I'll see you folks on opening day.
Aloha, my name is Jaylee Kanoy. I'm in the 12th grade and I attend Nanakuli High and Intermediate School. Today I'm here with Representative Jean Ward of District 18. Aloha, Representative.
Aloha.
Representative, what are your goals for this upcoming legislative session?
For the people of Hawaii, we have a number of things to consider. One is the economics, and I'm very big on diversification of the economy. Did you know the Alice families? Alice stands for Asset Limited Income Challenged Earners. That means people who are employed, but they're too poor to have a roof over their head or food on the table. We've got to diversify the economy. And that's when, as I said earlier, we do the Hollywood of the Pacific is one of the things to do that. So we have high-paying jobs. We can also become the sports center of the Pacific if we build the stadium correctly. And then thirdly, we can become the space center of the Pacific. Space tourism is something we could do on the Big Island. And as a graduate of the East West Center, we can become the Geneva of the Pacific, where diplomacy, bringing areas that need to sit down and talk out and create a peaceful settlement in some of the distribution. So that's just some of the things we're going to do in 2024. But probably the most serious thing is the consideration of recreational marijuana. The other probably even more serious than that, is the Maui-centric rehabilitation, recovery of the island and the people of Maui. That's a big thing. And we've given our commitment to the people of Maui that whatever it needs, whatever it takes, we're going to fulfill that. So if anybody from Maui is watching, we got your back.
I wish you the best of luck on these goals. What are some of your issues what are some issues in your community you have faced, and how do you plan to address them?
Well, my community is Hawaii Kai, for those who may not remember that. We are fearful of sometimes land use issues. We had a fiasco at the Kalama Valley Shopping Center where we had a huge footprint of a industry that just created a hornet's nest of opposition. So it's where the Kalama Valley Shopping Center is going to be a consideration of 2024. Also, we have, because of the various homeless situations that are in town, they push people out when they do a sweep, and they come to Hawaii Kai. So we have an issue of homelessness that we want to make sure that we are under control with. And with the issue of sometimes crime also sporadically goes up and it goes down. But generally, the people of Hawaii Kai want to have a strong economy. The cost of living, the shocking thing, and we often do a survey of our community, that we said, you know, are you better off, worse off since whatever? But then the question that followed that, have you considered moving to the mainland? 15,000 people left Hawaii from the mainland, some of them from the west side. Many were Hawaiian, part Hawaiian. But my community, which, the image, you're Hawaii Kai, you're rich. No, we just have to work hard to pay second mortgages. 50% of my community said they have thought about leaving. What does that tell you? I mean, like, we want to stay in Hawaii. Everybody wants to stay in Hawaii. But you got half of a community that has the image of being able to make it, saying, yeah, you know, we've thought about it because the cost of living is so high. We're the highest taxed, the highest regulated, the most anti-business community. We've got to wake up in this building for people who are struggling. Not because half of the people of Hawaii Kai said they're leaving, but because 15,000 people every year are leaving. It's particularly you young people. And if we can't keep the young people here, the brain drain is enormous. And if we can't get jobs that allow you to have a roof over your head and food on the table, we're not doing our job in this building. So I really feel strongly about the Alice families. And the second priority of this office are the Hawaiian issues. I've been in the legislature a couple of decades, and after 18 years of hearing the pablum that we give the Hawaiian community, which is basically, if it's cultural, if it's ritual, e komo mai, we'll put you front and center. You're the host culture. But if it's economic or it's political, we're not ready to get you seated at the table. And a lot of that is focused right on the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, where 100 years ago, Prince Kohio, with the Hawaiian Commission Act, had 203,000 acres put aside for homesteads. Now, 100 years later, we got maybe 10,000 homesteads. Can you imagine? After 100 years, you can't build more than 100 houses every year. And we got 28,000 on the wait list, even though we gave 203,000 acres. That is a broken promise. And until we make right with the Hawaiian community, this whole notion of social justice is just a smoke screen. Speaking of which, the transition to smoking, recreational marijuana is going to numb and dumb down young people. I know your brain is formed because now you're a senior. But if you were smoking prior to that, your tendency to have any ambition or precision of who you are and what you want to do, like studying, you know, going and studying to become what you want to become, a nurse, or as you said earlier, possibly in the movie industry, or with, what was the other one you said?
Hospitality.
Hospitality. You know, you got to be on your game when you're with the visitor industry. But if you're kind of kicked back with a reefer of marijuana, my point is this, and I have a radio show every week, and I challenged people. I said, if we need this, you call me and tell me that you can't get marijuana, because I think marijuana is available anywhere, anytime, Anybody wants to buy it. And no one ever calls in and says, oh yeah, I can't get marijuana. So this thing about legalizing marijuana is a unfortunate, misled policy. And oftentimes when they say, oh, we're going to get all this revenue, they give revenue to a particular department like education, and then they back up the amount of money that they generally give them in a budget. So those are the two big issues. Maui and marijuana, M&Ms, if you will, Maui and marijuana. And the biggest priority is going to obviously be Maui, but I hope we have enough sense in this building to not try to numb and dumb down the people of Hawaii.
Representative, what are some accomplishments you're most proud of from last legislative session?
The last legislative sessions, probably the $600 million that we got for the Hawaiian community, which now I'm on the watchdog committee, even though it's a watchdog committee. If we give $600 million to somebody else, we don't have to have a watchdog committee. That's another sort of pejorative. Oh, if we give it to the Hawaiians, we're going to watch over them so they don't waste the money. Like, duh, after 100 years, and they only got 10,000 homesteads, and they got 28,000 on the wait list. That will be a priority. That was a priority, the $600 million. But I think we have to continue with that momentum. We have to put entrepreneurs and enterprises on the homestead themselves. The vision that Prince Kohio had was not only Hawaiians on their own homesteads, but also economically self-reliant, independent economically. And we're not doing that. So I hope that that comes up. And a couple of the ideas that are still new, but I'm still tossing around, ADUs, which because we have 60,000 units short, this is if you have 5,000 to 8,000 square feet on your property, build an ADU, rent it to somebody for 3 to 5 years, and we'll pay half the price to build it, up to, I think, $80,000. In other words, $1 for the government, $1 for the private sector. We build a unit because we are so short of rental properties. That's an idea I'm kind of excited about.
Do you have any last words for your constituents?
Make sure this is an election year, that you sign up to vote, particularly young people. Sign up to vote and make sure that it comes in the mail and you return it. And you don't have to vote for me. This is not a political issue. But as a democracy, we need a strong Democrat Party. We need a strong Republican Party. And it's only the people who participate that can make that happen.
Mahalo, Representative, and thank you so much for your time. I wish you the best of luck.
Pleasure. The saying is, if you want to live ono, you have to live pono. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Ivani Gomes. I go to Nanakuli Elementary School. I'm in the 5th grade, and today I'm here with Senator Linda Coy of District 7. So, Senator, what are some of your goals for this upcoming legislative session?
So some of my goals is to make sure resources are reached into my district, and making sure they receive the same type of benefits that of urban Honolulu has.
What are some issues your community is facing, and how do you plan to address them?
So some of the issues are, because my area is a canoe district and it represents different islands, Molokai has always been transportation, trying to get from Molokai to Honolulu. Same situation with Lanai, our challenges with transportation, and the lack of transportation has been very, very big. In Maui, we have issues, everything from water issues. We have issues like access deer that has literally ravaged farms and ranches, impacted those that have been driving on the highway and bang into them and having to deal with all of those kinds of stuff. But, we continue to work with the state legislature, and what we have done was we provided funding to address that. We've engaged the community to also be part of helping with the management of access deer and the overpopulation of it.
What are some accomplishments from last year that you're proud of?
It would have to be access deer. So many complaints that have come in to our office. We provided over $1 million in equipment, as well as a cost reimbursement to allow also our families that practice gathering rates to be part of helping manage that, and to have landowners also look at working with them to allow them to come onto their properties and help them to bring down the population that has impacted their farms and ranches.
What inspired you to become a leader for your community?
The former representative that I served after her passing, she inspired me. I had no really hope for government. I had problems with believing government could make change. And she inspired me to look into running and seeing if I could, if I would enjoy it. And if I didn't, then I could quit. Of course, she knows that I don't like to quit. So I was able to, work through it, able to find that I could help. And of course, it's always a work in progress, and you just got to do the best that you can. Sometimes there's things that beyond your control that you can't fix. In this case, there was many issues that I was like addressing the operations and administration budget for Department of Hawaiian Homelands. We're inspirational in doing that. We're inspirational in working with upcountry Maui in water, the diversion of water from East Maui water. And restoring those areas that needed water. At the same time, working within our schools to provide resources that are heavily needed.
Do you have any last words for your constituents?
For my constituents is my last words would be engage in the process, be part of the process. It's easy to sit on the sidelines and complain a lot, but if you're not part of the process, which this is what government allows you to do, is to speak your mind and your voice, testify on issues whether you like it or you don't, and be a part of making decisions within that body, and reach out to your lawmaker and for whatever reason, let them know what you're supportive of and what you're not.
Mahalo, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Aloha, my name is Malo Sukwepo. I'm in the 8th grade currently attending Ilima Intermediate School. I am here with Senator Kurt Favela of District 20. Senator, what are your goals for this year's upcoming legislative session?
Well, one of the main things is that I want to make sure we can finish our football field with the locker rooms and doing the gender equality going forward. But mainly, we just want to make sure we work on our social issues that we have in our community, which is very important, city and state, and our traffic. People don't realize that we still have traffic even though we have the north-south road. Those are some of the things. And then safety-wise, we want to put a little bit more speed tables around the community where we're having excessive speed. A lot of people thinking that we don't need the speed tables, but they don't understand our community is growing, and not everybody that was born and raised there understand that our community is a very small community in a sense and very family oriented. So those are the things that is important, because we have to make sure that safety and schools coming together. So one of the main ones I'm going to let you share was that I'm going to try to bring public safety, the new law enforcement, to come take the training. So our security or our attendants at school will take the training, and then they can come law enforcement too, and they don't have to change job. The reason why I want to do that is because if the person that working on campus or in Lima take the law enforcement training, that they come back to the school, they already know the kids, they already know the community. So they're going to be not only advancing themselves for money and pay wise, but it's going to help the community to keep our schools safe. Because if you're safe at school, easier to learn, right? Safe and clean schools. So that's what I'll be advocating.
What are some issues your community face, and how do you plan to address them?
Well, right now, I know our community is talking about the lead at Pu'aloa. I'm working with the different agencies and with the Marines going forward and trying to address the lead problem that we have at the shooting range. And then the other one is, you guys, I don't know if you guys know, but they want to do ocean mining. It's going to cause a lot of debris. So we want to stop that. That's one of the main things, to protect our ocean and our natural resources and bringing back our limu and our natural resources that we have in Haubush, Pu'aloa Beach Park. But fireworks, that's a big one. So I'm going to be legislating that we ban all aerial fireworks in the state until we can get a good hold of it. And no hotels, no nothing being sold. Nobody going to have any Friday night aerial shows, nothing. Ban it incomplete, and then bring back firecrackers and let firecrackers be legal to buy without permits. So if people go back to the old ways of reusing fireworks, maybe they won't have the need to use those big bomb aerials, because it really hurts our pets, our kapuna, our keiki. It really hurts them. And then what about the people that went to in the military? So those are the things that I'm going to be advocating so that we can enhance the safety for everybody in our community.
What are some accomplishments from the previous year that you're proud of?
One of my main accomplishments, I already talked about it a little bit, is that in my 4 years of being here, I got to get the funding to finish our football field. Where hopefully I see you on there. But we got a new track, we got a new field, we got a new scoreboard, and now we're working on the locker rooms and the bleachers. That's one of them. The other one is just the enhancements of the speed tables in front Campbell, in front of Papipi. It's a community effort. When the community asks me for advocate or do stuff like that in the community, it's my pleasure in trying to make our community safe and making sure those things are accomplished. So that's one of the toppers. I don't want to go over everything else, but I just want our community of Ever Beach to understand that, it's not a piecemeal. We got to be patient and get things done. But how we get things done is working together, cooperation. We cannot be telling you and calling you names or being mean at you because we never get our way. You got to just wait for another year and try again. It's like anything else in sports, same thing. Maybe you're not going to be first string, second string, but every year you're going to try better yourself to get the first string. But it's the same thing here. Nothing would be accomplished if I didn't work together with my colleagues in the Senate.
What inspired you to become a community leader?
My mom and my dad. Because when I was in school, they was very active with supporting governors and representatives in our area. And when I got out of high school, my dad used to always grumble about the economy, safety, all that kinds of stuff. And then my mom was very active in the hotel industry and tried to organize unions and stuff. So it was a fit because, again, I come from a working background. I've been to pretty much every single union you can think of, from local tree, all of that. We got HGA, local 368. So HGA, UPW. Believe it or not, I've been to all those unions, and I realized the strength on unity and unions in enhancing our community and financial. So that's the reason why I'm here. I'm here to fight for the people that cannot speak out and fight for their wages and a decent pay. And that's the main reason why I'm running. I ran. And it was funny because I don't know if you guys all know, I was a custodian before I became a senator. So it's not that I didn't appreciate my job. I just wanted to come over here and figure I can represent the people better by doing this work. And when people tell me how you like your job or how you like work, I don't think it's work, especially when you're doing the people's, what they want. Because it's such a privilege to be here and honored to be a senator of Ever Beach and a state legislator to go ahead and do the people's work. And that's one of the reasons for motivating me. And you got to understand, when you have faith-based, right? And then, of course, when I got married to my wife, Donna, and my daughter, Abigail, you always want to try to enhance the safety of your community. How are you going to do that if you just grumble, point the finger, and blame somebody else, right? Put on your big boy pants or whatever pants you want to put on, and come out and do the work. That's it. Don't grumble. Because we have enough grumbling out there and nothing's being done. So that's the main reasons, because you got to be community oriented, and that's the whole thing. So that's basically what I got in for.
Do you have any last words for your constituents?
Well, during this legislation, I welcome everybody to the Senate to come to the Square building and just come and visit everybody so they know what the legislative process is. But just remember, the office that I stay here is not my office. It's the Ever Beach community and the state's office. I'm just the person that's occupying them and doing the work of the community. So that's basically understanding, to get the understanding on how legislation is done. It's not like how I thought it was. When I got here, I'm serious. I just thought I was just going to be the senator of Ever Beach. At that time, I was the only senator. So I was minority leader, floor speaker, all that kind of stuff. And it was a big responsibility, So, many people will be called, but a few is chosen. And we got to respect the duties that God bless us with and just do the best we can. That's it.
Mahalo for your time, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Aloha, my name is Tupaina Kumukua Keohuhu. I'm in the 6th grade and I'm attending Nani Kapuna Elementary School. Today I'm here with Representative Woodson of District 9. So, Representative, what are your goals for this upcoming legislative session?
Thank you for this opportunity. Our goals is always to see what the community needs. For me, I have the honor and privilege of chairing the Education Committee. And so we want to continue to support our expansion of high quality early learning opportunities. That's important for our community in the state, strengthening the DOE system, K through 12th grade, and seeing about if there's creative solutions to address affordable housing.
What issues does your community face and how do you plan to address them?
So cost of living is definitely a challenge for my particular community and others. And so actually, as we expand high quality early learning opportunities, what that really means is making sure that we provide free or greatly reduced prices for our preschool and free kindergarten, or I should say pre-kindergarten. That's the second highest cost item for our families. And so besides housing or rent, it's preschool or daycare. And so we want to continue to build that system out for Kahului and more broadly Central Maui. We just opened up a new pre-kindergarten classroom at Wailuku L. That's because even though our families live in Kahului, a lot of them work in the Wailuku area. And so we want to make sure that we're providing convenient locations for our families to take advantage of.
What inspires you to become a leader for your community?
Well, I just appreciate the fact that, really, I decided to put my name up for consideration, and I'm just more so just very thankful that they allow me to serve. And this is a position to serve the community. It's called servant leadership. And, I think just for me, I was interested in politics, and I am just so attracted to the fact that through politics, you can do good for your community, you could do good for the state, and you could do good for the country. And so, and I just felt blessed that I have the opportunity to serve.
What accomplishments from last year are you most proud of?
For me, we like to work collectively in our office as a team. And so there's important aspects like continuing to provide CIP support for our public schools. And so we're in the process of building a new STEAM building, or I should say a STEM building actually, at Maui High School. That's important to support our students at the high school level. There are other CIP projects, but really what we try to do as a community, I should say what we try to do in the office to serve the community is there might be an individualistic concern, like, if there's motorbikes, going back and forth on the sidewalk, that might not be something that's important for the entirety of Kahului, but it's important to that particular family. And so our office really tries to work with each family and address their individual concerns. And so we will look at bigger projects that impact the entirety of the community, but it's very important if someone has a specific concern, like they need help with trash removal, or, like I said, there's bicycles, motorbikes, I should say, illegally on the sidewalks. We want to try to help out and just be of service to all of our community members.
Do you have any last words for your constituents?
I just feel so grateful for the opportunity, and I just want to continue to serve. And you can always reach out to our office, even if it is just to provide guidance on if we're doing bad or good, or they feel like we're on the right path. And it's me here, of course, but it's also the entirety of our office, and all of us are here to serve.
Mahalo, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for your time.
Aloha, my name is Marcus Mir. I'm in the 5th grade, currently attending Kawaihono Okana'awau Public Charter School, and today I'm here with Senator Chirashimoto, leader of District 5. So, Senator, what are your goals for this upcoming legislative session?
Well, thank you for interviewing me, and thank you for being here at the opening of the legislature. I think some of the biggest goals for me is because I'm from Maui, it'll be really about how we respond to this recent wildfire that we experienced on August 8th, right? There's tremendous devastation that happened within West Maui. I think there's a lot of people who are looking for housing And so that is really my space, right? I sit on the housing committee. I was previously the housing chair in the House of Representatives before coming over to the Senate. And so I think that is my number one priority, is trying to figure out the housing situation, not only for the short term, but also for the long term for the people of West Maui and all of Maui. Housing is a huge issue for us throughout the state, not only Maui. And so I think we're going to have to make incremental progress in that space, because we are wanting to keep our best and brightest here. Because the reality is, if we don't take care of this housing issue, then people are just simply going to move away. They're going to move to places like Las Vegas, where it's much cheaper and they can find housing. And so we need to reverse that trend. And the way that we do it is we need to make sure that we can build housing that is actually affordable for people that, like you, who grew up here in Hawaii, right? And so I think that is our number one goal, and we're going to do that through various financing mechanisms. I think one of the biggest commitments is that we need to make big investments into what we call the Rental Housing Revolving Fund. I think the governor initially put in $180 million into it, which is quite a bit of amount of money, but maybe we can increase that amount. I think previously we did $300 million, so I want to get close to that amount, and I think we can make some big progress in that area.
What are some issues your community is facing, and how would you address them?
Yeah, so I think obviously cost of living is a big issue that my community is facing. But I think really what a lot of my businesses are sharing with me is that they need workers, right? And I think in every profession that you look, everyone needs people to come work for them. And so I think one of the things that we need to do is we want to make sure that the University of Hawaii and all of our community colleges are getting our young people ready for the workforce, right? So this is nurses, this is teachers. These are things that we have shortages in the workplace, but we need to be training them at our universities and colleges that right here at home, right? You shouldn't have to come to Oahu if you live on Maui. You shouldn't have to come to Oahu if you live on Kauai, nor should you have to go to the mainland to get the appropriate degrees to work in Hawaii. And so that's really what I think is top of mind for a lot of people. It's a pipeline issue that we need to figure out. And I think that is something that we need to, especially for the neighbor islands, need to continue focusing on is creating that pipeline.
What are some accomplishments that you're most proud of?
You know, for myself, I think some of the biggest accomplishments is in the tangible items for my district, right? I think every year the state budget, you could get to allocate some type of funding. And, you know, I've been fighting very, very hard for many years to get funding for my schools, right? And so I think, you know, when you take a look at Baldwin High School in Maui, they have a whole bunch of new roofs, and that was through hard work to make sure that we could re-roof our school. We're about to build a new athletic facility for Baldwin High School on Maui. Are starting to air condition Wailuku Elementary School on Maui. And so those are the things that I take the most pride in, because it's things that you can see very tangibly, fairly quickly, and it'll help our kids, our future generations, to be able to you know, have a better environment to learn. And so I think every legislator takes pride in the funding they are able to secure, especially for our schools.
Any last words for your constituents?
You know, I think this is going to be a very difficult session. I think money is likely going to be tight. I think the last Council on Revenue showed that we have a little bit extra money compared to previous years. So that's a good thing, because, you know, I think we were very, very afraid that the economy was going to slow because tourists, you know, are going to stop coming to Hawaii, because now that they've done all their post-COVID travel, they don't want to travel anymore. But it looks like things are a little stronger than we thought. And so I'm hoping that it'll be a good session where we can actually allocate monies to the areas that we need it. So I think it'll be exciting in that sense, but we want to, you know, proceed cautiously because at any time tourism can slow and that money might go away. So it'll be, I think, a cautiously optimistic session, but we look forward to doing the people's work.
Mahalo, wish you the best of luck.
Aloha, my name is Kashnu Uwanu. I am currently attending Nanakuli Elementary Schools, and I am in the 3rd grade. Today I'm here with Auntie Lisa. So Auntie Lisa, who are you representing today?
I am a producer representing the Nanakuli branch of Olelo. It's a community segment.
What is your purpose for being here, Auntie Lisa?
Well, I decided to give back to the community by escorting the students from the Nanakuli branch of Olelo. And here I am.
Is there a message you would like to share with your community, Auntie Lisa?
Yes, Olelo is a wonderful voice for the community. They're spread all over the island. There's 5 centers, and support your Olelo.
In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share?
I'd like to share that we have a beautiful island and we should enjoy it. Always remember to support your representatives too. Find out what's going on. All right?
Aloha, and thank you for your time.
Aloha.
Mahalo for watching.
Youth